Well, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan M.S. Pierce, and my esteemed guest, Greg Terry, who is live from Ukraine at the moment. His audio might be a little bit different, not as refined as, say, in his studio at home. He is set up in his apartment. I presume you in Khmelnytsky at the moment.
I'm currently in Khmelnytsky, yes, sir.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a lag sometimes with his visual and audio, as it was just then, but it should sort itself out as it did a little bit earlier. So, Greg, what's going on? Talk us through your experiences since you have, well, in traveling out to Ukraine and being in Ukraine.
Well, first of all, before I jump into that, are we good on the lag?
There's a little bit of difference between, I think your audio is ahead of your visuals for me.
Okay, then you soliloquy. Let me recall in because I want people to enjoy this and not try to watch an old Japanese film.
You're back. No, you're back. So I think it goes in and out. So you're fine. Carry on.
Okay, so been rolling ever since I hit the ground. Came across the border. Very interesting when I crossed the border. Maybe you guys will be interested in that. I came into Warsaw, had a buddy of mine take me to the border, actually to Kelm, and I crossed into northern Ukraine, and I came into Rivne, which is right up in that region there. Yes, sir. Came through Lublin. And when I came to the Ukrainian border, I came by myself, of course, and it's not a problem. Got through the Polish border, came to the Ukrainian side, which is about 5 kilometers inside the border on the Ukrainian side, and that's where you stop, right there, exactly. And they do their check. There was one border guard and 3 customs border guards. So the lady came by, and I had all these bags stacked up. Like, I carried as much as I could before our air shipment arrives. I have hundreds of chest seals, hundreds of tourniquets that I brought in with me. She saw the bags, and I had my passport sitting there from the US, and she spoke to me in Ukrainian, and I replied to her. She goes, "Okay, give me passport." I said, "Yes." So she took it and left. Here comes the first border guard. He comes up to me and goes, "You alone?" And he spoke to me in Ukrainian. I said, "Да, но может быть на русском или английский, потому что мой украинский плохо." So I said, "My Ukrainian's bad. Maybe speak to me in Russian or English." He says, "No problem. We'll speak in Russian." I said, "Okay," which you need to learn a lesson about that at the beginning. If anybody thinks this war is about language, you're bonkers. So he's speaking to me plainly, and he says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Khmelnytsky." "Why are you going there? And why do you have so many bags?" And I grabbed my backpack, and I have, of course, a real Azov patch. You cannot buy that on Amazon. And I pointed to it, and I simply said, "I'm going to help my friends." He says, "Welcome to my country. Please and thank you." So that was my border crossing with way too many bags, no problems. They didn't even look into it. Got here, was able to unpack enough to catch. It's over there. Sanya, no, blisko no. A lot of things are going on here as we're preparing to leave again to go to the east. So guys are working, and I may have to take a phone call, but we're good. So from that, got to Khmelnytsky, no problem, and 12 hours later left for the southern part of Ukraine. We were in the Mykolaiv and Kherson Oblast, and we took, to start all of our work, we started with Operation Chocolate Drop, where we basically gave chocolates and Christmas gifts to kids that many of them are orphaned. Their parents are in the military and have been killed. They're living now with grandparents, or one parent's gone. Very, very bad situations. Their school, one of their schools was completely destroyed. In fact, I showed some pictures of that on one of my video updates. 425 students. So all the students in these regions do not physically go to school. Yeah, there's that. They do not physically go to school. There's the patch. And they learn remotely. So we came with the proper permissions. We dropped 2 days of Christmas programs, 2 days of aid, 1,000 gifts of chocolate and toys, and 3 different programs where we were able to encourage these kids, these adults. Everything that we do, if you click videos there, yeah, it'll be Operation Chocolate Drop, the 3rd one over. So let me show you those since you're there now. If you look at the 4th one on the right, Reality Nonstop, just 60 seconds for people to see reality. I'm stuck in an air alarm there. Down south, the one to the left of that is the Operation Chocolate Drop. Yeah. You can play it.
I don't think I can do sound on this one unless I
That's okay.
change.
That's okay. They can click it later and see it. The one to the left of that is Operation Chocolate Drop. The one to the left of that is Ukrainian Grannies, and that's where I do my best Johnny Pierce impersonation for geopolitical things with the real map of Ukraine, post-Soviet Union. And then the one to the left, and I'm getting ready to upload another one with a tourniquet drop tonight, but the one to the left of that one is I'm stopping at a special place for military where we drop patches. Quite an interesting place, and I need to speak about that in a second. But so we did all of that. We're on the way back, coming back, because now I was supposed to be leaving for tomorrow for the full frontline run, which will include Sumy region, which is the hottest region right now. It's equal to Kherson in shelling and activity, especially with a lot of activity with Russians, reconnaissance groups, DRGs crossing the border and causing a lot of problems. So when we'll be working in Sumy, and then from there, Johnny, we literally will run the entire front lines, which will be Kupiansk, yep, right there, down to the Siversk, what I call the Siversk Circle, where you're correct. Then, of course, down to supporting the Bakhmut front there with Kramatorsk, Slavyansk, Druzhkivka, Konstantinivka, Chasiv Yar. Get some aid into Ivanivsky, which is 1 kilometer. It's very close. You know it. You know the map, but that's it.
Yeah, no, it's so sad. I know this map better than I know my own bloody county.
And
is that? Are you actually going to go there? Are you going to go there?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Goodness. Jesus. Yeah, that's
Jesus will be with me.
that's high risk, mate. That's high risk. Goodness.
Okay, so I'm going to answer that in a second. So then from there, we will then cut across, and we'll come through Pokrovsk, where just 2 nights ago, multiple killed, many wounded there with a missile strike, which is straight down to the right of my picture.
Yeah, so let me just remind people, only because I know that the videos are now doing the rounds because they've actually geolocated this or announced where it was from. But the hospital that was hit the other day, while it was going on, that video that I referenced the other day, I didn't actually show it. It's only a 3-second video, pretty much, or 8 seconds if it's on sort of loop. That is an explosion, basically right next to the theatre where they were presently operating, and that was a strike on a hospital, and that was Pokrovsk, apparently. But yes, anyway,
that was Pokrovsk, correct.
So that is here, and then where?
And then we'll hop down to, if you go down below that, you get to Novaya Vasilka there, Veliki Novosilka there, right below.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We support our guys there. We come across, we support Orikiv, and the guys in Robitny are our guys. Well, they're all our guys, but I mean, these are certain groups that we support. And then we'll jump up to Zaporizhia, because in Zaporizhia is where we do vehicle repair. So this is really interesting, and people do not understand how dangerous it is, but we just came back from the South. So our vehicle, which is fully equipped, which we've worked on building, is in service right now. We make sure everything is fine-tuned, and then we will make that whole loop. And once we get to Zaporizhia, we have another military/volunteer service center that will check our vehicle, because we'll have been through all the front lines there. From there, we then will head Nikopol down through the river run, ending up in Kherson.
Nikopol and Marnets and these places here get absolutely hammered on a regular basis, have been for well over a year, you know, since the Russians, you know, made their way to here. They just shell across that reservoir, and these are quite industrial towns in some respects, Nikopol and Marnets, and I think they just get hammered. And then on the way down.
The reason that we can't fire back if you go back up to Nikopol. So what most folks need to understand is the majority of shelling that is hitting Nikopol is coming right from the nuclear power plant.
Right, of course, very clever. Yeah, so they can just let's say that's 27 kilometers. So that's probably stretching it for Russian artillery, but they're like 25 kilometers
bank to bank. So if you look at the cooling, do you see the cooling pond?
Yeah.
To the left.
Yeah.
All right, now come right below the cooling pond, backwards a little bit. See these villages here? This village?
Yeah.
Loaded with Russian artillery.
Who knew? It's another Vodyanyi. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mark it from there just to the riverside of Nikopol, not into the internal, and do your distance. Yeah, that's fine. Go from there. No, to the left. To the left.
Yeah. Sorry. Just.
Yep, and come right to where it says Nikopol. Oh no, you're way up past it. Come on down.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. So a 20 kilometer would give you. That's pretty much what they're maxing with their artillery, generally speaking, at the moment.
Yes.
I mean, they should be able to do that, but I'm not too confident about Russian artillery, so I'd put it more like that. But as you say, you know, well, Nikopol is well within that range easily.
So it's smashed daily.
I mean, the only thing that the Ukrainians could do, I guess, would be to use first-person view drones or whatnot, but you'd have to have a fairly decent range to get there. I know some drones can now do that, or you'd have to use real precision-guided munitions, because you don't want to be, as you say, they are using the shelter of the nuclear power plant as a way to shell the Ukrainians.
100%. So from there down to Kherson. And in Kherson, we have an apartment that we stay in. We'll keep it at that distance right there for our security, but we're 800 meters from the river, and of course we get hammered there every night that we stay there. The reason we feel relatively safe is because our apartment location is on purpose. It's in a 2-story building, but we're behind a 9-story building, and we're blocked from the southern side from the river. So it's relative safety. The problem in Kherson is once you get down on the riverside, and Kherson's a beautiful, beautiful big city that's being destroyed. Once you get down there, there are many, 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 many collaborators. So you have to be careful. Once we get into that region of Kherson, unless we're with military, I don't even open my mouth. My partner, Zhenya, speaks only in Ukrainian. And then if he needs to flip to Russian, he will, and it's not a problem. But he can then hear the intonation. And we've had experiences in the past where we've come up trying to get to our apartment, and he goes, "Man, that's not a good person. We need to loop around for an hour and come back." We would literally leave and drive out 4 or 5 kilometers to a place we know that's pretty safe, or maybe a friend. And then we would come back to our place to stay under complete darkness. And we run fully dark with our night vision and come into our place when it's clear. It's that dangerous because of the drones and the strikes that can be called in, knowing locations of volunteers and military. So it's tough, but it's good.
I don't want to be gender specific here, mate, but balls of steel there. Hats off to you.
I have a good all my
don't know
stuff is. Oh no.
I thought you were just going to say I have a good set of testicles. It's not a problem.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to show you, but hey,
I'm wondering where this is going.
Does this make you feel better if I do this today? So we're ready for the stream. Yeah, we're fully. There we go. So
awesome.
we're locked and loaded. But now I want to explain something that I think is very helpful for people. First of all, I saw Dr. Gertis in the chat. I can't really watch the chat because I've got other text messages coming in, but I saw him there. So we've really formed a partnership between Dr. Gertis' community, your community, even Rick the Ukrainian, my community. In fact, I'll see Rick when I go through Kyiv and probably Starsky as well and have coffee with those guys on my way out through Kyiv. But we've formed a beautiful thing where we're all helping each other, and it's such powerful synergy. So I'm trying my best for everybody that's watching today live, or you will watch this later on demand. I'm trying my best to answer everybody. You guys overwhelm me in a very positive way with comments and emails, and I'm thankful. Please do not stop. Blow my email up. That's fine. Just recognize some of these drives we take. For example, yesterday, coming back from Kropyvnytsky to Khmelnytsky, we were on the road 13 hours due to weather. We literally drive thousands and thousands and thousands of kilometers to do this. You talk about a lot of fuel, a lot of vehicle maintenance. So we have a mobile setup in our truck, and I'm able to communicate a lot when we're on the road. So I will respond to everybody. However, I did see one comment. Yeah, if you want to do that, yeah, just go ahead and do that. Go Kyiv, go Sumy, go Kharkiv, go Kupiansk, go Kramatorsk. Yeah. Yep. Up to Zaporizhia, Nikopol. Yep. Kherson, Mykolaiv, Uman. Mykolaiv to Uman, back to Khmelnytsky.
So that's pretty much 1,900 kilometers. So that's a good, that's probably 1,500 miles or something like that.
It is. And we do that every 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
You better have a good playlist in your car.
No, we work the whole time. And these are some of the things that the community may find interesting. So I want to go to only one question that I've not answered yet. So I put a video up of us stopping. It's the last one I did yesterday. A tourniquet drops coming up in just a little while this evening. You guys will see that 3 or 4 minutes, but you see our first tourniquets handed out that all these communities have bought. Operation Drone is in process. That takes weeks. So 2 things I want to get out today, and then we can start talking about wherever you want to go. Number 1, it takes a lot of time to do what we do. So many people have messaged me going, have you got the drones yet? It's in process. They're here. They're on order. But this is a war zone, and where we have to pick things up and drop things off, it doesn't happen in 6 hours. It happens in days and days. So our first run was the chocolate run because we purchased all those supplies with gifts and of donations. So many people who my live stream said, buy chocolate for the kids. And it's just so much wonderful abundance of goodness that we did that gave us time to start organizing everything. So why do we feel relatively comfortable to go to the places we go to? We never go anywhere without military. If you look at my videos, which you will see every day, some will be live and a majority will be uploads in a time frame that people can watch and watch all of it and really feel a part of what's happening. You may not see them on the camera, but military is always with me, always. I will never show you anything that I've not had approval from a military guy. Permission. Never. So yesterday I showed the cafe, the Armenian cafe, where all the soldiers stop, they get coffee. It's en route to the Eastern Front and the Southern Front. It is a cultural icon. It is a cultural holy place in Ukraine with the patch drop. And I had a message, it was very kind, where it says, you know, you're giving the location away. So we're actually not. That video, there was military right beside me. You can show it. Why? Because Russia knows exactly where that spot is. There's nothing to geolocate. There's nothing to tag. Every person on the planet that knows anything about the inside of this war knows that location. And then I was given full permission to show what I showed from the military. Correct. There's nothing hidden there at all. Zero. That is public knowledge 1 million times over. And if Russia wants to waste a missile on that, they're idiots, and they're not. It's just, they couldn't even hit it, most likely. But we're always, so rest assured, whatever you see, guys, going from this moment forward, if I'm showing it, I'm doing it with permission, and we never go anywhere without military. So secondly, the order for the drones takes time. Let me add a third. When we have this run set up now, which we'll leave for, if not tomorrow, the day after, we're having some service done on the vehicle. Once we leave, every place we go, we are with the local commanders and the local military and the local brigades. I can tell you, when we're up in the Sumy region, we will be very close, extremely close. We will be so close that we not only drive into location fully armored, but we armor our windows with bulletproof vest hanging, and military rides with us, and we're behind military to get to where we're going, because this is the location where the DRGs or the reconnaissance groups from Russia are just in the woods and start shooting at anybody. That's how close we're going to be. But we never do it alone, ever. So rest assured, everybody be comfortable. Only going to show what we're allowed or invited. It's the soldiers saying, Greg, show this to the world. Can I? Absolutely. Everybody knows where this is at. So we do our best always.
Are you finding, I mean, not you do it for sort of appreciation, but are people sort of happy that you're doing what you're doing, and, you know, really appreciative of you doing that, but B, are people happy that you're still doing it? You know, this idea that 2 years into the war, are Ukrainians worried about people not caring as much anymore?
100%. Not only worrying about it, they know about it. So let me give you the inside. And by the way, I really enjoyed that young lady last night on your stream. We'll try to get her some help. There's also an American medic here. We're going to try to help. Somebody can make that connection for me. I'll supply that lady, no problem. Yes. First of all, people that are watching the stuff that we do from around the world, 99.999% of the comments that come are, oh my goodness, thank you for showing me real Ukraine. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's non-Ukrainians. For Ukrainians, they're deeply concerned that after November 2024, they're in trouble.
What do you mean by November 2024?
If Donald Trump is reelected.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that is a genuine, because
major,
I know I get a lot.
Point.
Yeah, I get a lot of hassle from people on my channel for continually mentioning Donald Trump, but the reason is because international analysts are always talking about it. This is a major topic of conversation outside of the US, and when I say that, I mean there are people people are concerned. Even like right-wing media sources like the Telegraph are consistently talking about the concern for Trump taking over. So when there are lots of people that have a go at me who are pro-Trump viewers saying, "Oh, stop trashing on Trump, stop having a go at him," it's like I have to talk about him because it is super important, at least as far as people outside of the US are concerned. It's super important for many inside US. I know there are pro-Trumpers who will say Trump will be fantastic and this wouldn't have happened without Trump and all these kind of talking points. But also inside Ukraine, it's interesting that you're saying that there's a lot of concern as well. Is that's what you?
So yes, it points us to this fact. Ukrainians are extremely smart people and very, very knowledgeable of world events. Even people that you wouldn't expect. You know, you go up to some little granny and I'm talking to her and she'll ask me some question about America and I'm going, "Oh, how do you even know that?" And it's amazing. They're very educated, very smart people, and just they're in tune. So the number one question I'm getting now, especially from military guys and people on the fronts, is Donald Trump going to win? Now, you and I are on polar opposites politically in many things, not all. There's a lot you and I actually agree upon.
Yeah,
Johnny.
we have this weird relationship where you
are a weird relationship. But I am a conservative Christian. I won't even say Republican anymore. I'm a truth hunter. I was a Ronald Reagan fan, Ronald Reaganite, much like Dr. Gertis. But I just want truth. I grew up in an era. I was born in 72, grew up in an era where it was Gorbachev and Reagan, and you watch Red Dawn, the movie, and this is the world you grow up in. So I'm a Ronald Reaganite. With that said, you would go, okay, well, you should be a Trumpite. Are you kidding me? He's bad news for the world. Yes, he helped our country with some economic policies, but he has the loss in 2020 and the insurrection pushed him into a narcissistic, maniacal world that I personally believe destroyed his ability to think with common sense. So it's very dangerous, and it's not about Trump program, but the question is, are there people here talking about the American election? And I can tell you many, 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 many. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. And without a doubt, it is hugely important. No matter where you sit on the political spectrum in the US, it is massively important because, I mean, like, just listen to what the guy says. So the guy, and this isn't, I'm not going to go on a big like Trump rant here, but if you actually listen to the words he said he would do a deal and he would give territory back to Putin. He would give territory to Putin in an agreement. So he would force concessions in order to get a peace deal done, which is the exact opposite to what pro-Ukrainians and Ukrainians themselves want. And so all you need to do is listen to what he says to get an idea that he is not the best guy for Ukraine. And if you think he is, then you are actually just basically parroting Kremlin talking points, really, as opposed to pro-Trump talking points. So it is a genuine worry, but that's all I say about him.
We'll see. Yeah, the bottom line is America is a melting pot, and it's a beautiful place. Do we have immigration problems? They're massive. Is our southern border out of control? Yes, equal to our northern border as well. It's out of control. We need it. It's not only the right thinking that, now the left is going, yeah, we've got some issues we've got to resolve. It's common sense, okay? But I've got news for you. America is a melting pot of beautiful cultures from all over the world. And when he made the statement that these people coming across the border are poisoning our blood, you're quoting Adolf Hitler. Okay, that is scum, and that is not America. And I am a conservative Republican Christian pastor, but that is scum, and that is not America. And if that is the best we got, then I'm moving to Ukraine full time. Period.
Well, you know me. I'm not religious. You're not religious. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not a religious person, but amen, brother. But so you are, how long until you are back off again on your travels? I know you've just said that,
We
but remind me.
scheduled to leave tomorrow, but and may be in Kyiv tomorrow. If not, it would be the next morning. So today is Tuesday.
What
No,
do you
today's Monday.
what do you personally pack with you then to take? Like, and where are you staying? Like, do you just like when you're not in the places that you have contacts in, so to speak, or are you always staying with people that your contacts? Are you ever having to like?
So yeah, great question. So I've worked in Ukraine 26 years. Here in Khmelnytsky, I have my own apartment. I've just got a dear friend that I have my own room. I have my own everything, and it never changes. It's my room, whether I'm here or not. So I have my own place here. Beautiful place, very comfortable for me, so I can rest when we're not rolling. In Kyiv, my partner has an apartment, so we have an apartment in Kyiv. If you look down, go to Poltava, to the right of Kyiv.
Yep.
Go to Poltava, and if you go up to the left a little bit, just Poltava's fine. There's a town there called Reshetulivka, and at our place in the United States, we have an immigrant family that immigrated due to the war, and they're from a village there called Reshetulivka. They have a beautiful home, so we stay there, and we stay in Reshetulivka, yes. And then in Sumy, we are embedded with military. We stay with military. We have very, very close connections there up on the Russian border. In Kharkiv, we have an apartment. From there, we always stay in Kramatorsk. We have an apartment. And then we always stay in Pavlograd, sometimes Konstantinivka right there, but then Pavlograd or Pokrovsk, we stay there. These are all relationships. Everything's waiting on us when we get there. And then we have a place in Dnipro, we have a place in Zaporizhia, we have a place in Kherson, and we have a place in Berezhnikovatar, which is in Mykolaiv Oblast, and Kazanka, which is outside of Kryvyi Rih. Everywhere. Yeah. So if you come down to Kazanka, right there. Yeah. Right there.
So wow, you've got a lot of connections and places that you can draw upon. Is that from all the previous kind of charitable work that you've been doing before the war started and whatnot?
It's 26 years of my life working over this entire country. And since the war started and we've been helping at this level, it's exploded to a new place of relationships and help. So even if you look in all the occupied territories there on your map in the red, I have friends in places in all of them. I have thousands of friends that are occupied now, living under this terror.
Yeah.
Everywhere. So it's, Ukraine is big, and at the same time, it's very small and very family. I'll be honest with you, Johnny, I would feel comfortable walking up to any house in any village, knocking on the door. Some granny or grandpa come up to the door and say, listen, we're out helping Ukraine. Can we sleep here tonight? The borscht would be on the stove in 30 seconds. That's Ukrainian culture.
Yeah. That's brilliant. It's nice that you popped in on the live stream last night with Ada Wordsworth. Thanks for listening to some of that, mate. But she was sort of talking to those sort of households up in that northern area, northern Kharkiv Oblast, and how she's helping with those houses and rebuilding buildings and communities in so doing. But yeah, just she's become attached to Ukraine herself and to that region in particular in the sort of way that you're mentioning there. So
yeah, I saw a question here from Mr. Squiggle, because I am looking at a little bit chat now. What do you do in terms of medical and or travel insurance that deals with Ukraine's wartime requirements?
So, in fact, I asked a similar question to Ada last night. There is no travel insurance in Ukraine anymore, or at least not from outside of Ukraine. There's you can't get medical insurance, so medical insurance. But she said you can get it inside Ukraine, and she said the same with driving, like car insurance. If like a British insurer wouldn't insure me to drive, I could drive in Europe, but not in Ukraine.
So we have vehicle insurance, of course. But medical insurance, it's irrelevant because, unfortunately, this is a part of the system. One of the reasons people enjoy listening to us, I think, is because we do tell the truth. We'll tell you the exact truth. Okay, not paint some rosy picture that's not there. But I think it's because we do tell the truth. Ukraine's healthcare system is still in the process of breaking out from the Soviet Union and working very aggressively at it. But health insurance here, literally, especially if you're a foreigner, means absolutely nothing. If something was to happen to me, let's say, if you want to know the real truth, my medical care is my IFAC kit, my body armor, and the soldiers I'm walking around with who promise me that if incoming comes, get on the ground, they're putting their body on top of me because they said, you came from America to help my country. And if somebody's going home to their family, it's going to be you and not me. So that's my insurance. But additionally, let's say we were out somewhere and took a little shrapnel or something, which we've been close. I would immediately go to the Bakhmut region. It's what we were calling it. It's not Bakhmut, of course, but the field hospital that I cannot give the location to because the chief surgeon there, who is high level, we're very personal friends, and I would trust him to take care of me. I would not have a cost. I would just be treated as a wounded person, and he'd take care of me. That's really how it works. I'm not looking to get out and go to Germany. I'm going straight to that hospital. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, so Cheryl's saying some foreign
exactly
fighters
right.
say they're well cared for out of gratitude, and it's not as if, you know, if you're a Foreign Legion fighter and you've been injured, it's not like you're going to go to hospital like with your leg hanging off and they go, yeah, not sure, have you got insurance? Like, yeah, you know,
it's not like that at all.
No.
By the way, guys, this is the best water in Ukraine. If you ever come here, this is Karpatskia, this is water from the Carpathian Mountains.
There you go. And so to go back to what I was saying earlier, you know, the people are they still appreciating the fact? Are they appreciating what you're doing, given that this is 2 years down the line? Are they like, you know, I know that earlier on in the war, people are like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you are thinking about us, you're caring about us, or you're over here to help us, and that kind of attitude. But as the war's gone on, they're probably very used to international people coming over and helping, more so than at the beginning, obviously. And just wondering about the idea of it being 2 years into this almost, and whether, you know, as I was saying, people are worried that kind of aid would be dropping off.
No. So you have two levels of help. Okay. And quite a few of the guests that you've had, because I watch all your streams, I have nothing else to do here but prepare to do more stuff, and I enjoy it.
Oh, thank you, man.
You're welcome. I even watch Dr. Gertis, every one of them.
Good old Barry.
Yeah. All right, so here's some more truth. Very few foreigners and an extreme very few corporate humanitarian agencies go to where we go. Okay. I go to the zero line. Now, that American medic that I'm somebody connect me to her. I'll get her some supplies. I can't connect to her. She's on the zero line. Anna, who you were talking to last night, is up very close to very dangerous areas right now. Very dangerous.
Yeah.
Ada. But when I go to these zero lines, because Ukraine is at such a deficit for soldiers, more truth for you guys. The same soldiers have been there for 12 and 18 months. They may rotate out for a 7-day break. It's the same guys. When I come up to these locations that we help, I know them personally. When I jump out of the truck or the truck's coming, it's my name here.
Oh, you're sorry. Yep, you cut out. You're back.
It's my name here is Gritsko Hacho. Okay. And they know me. So it's even more joy now than it was the first time or the second time or the third time, because they know the commitment. And now when I go back, which is just starting now, and I show up and I say, guys, you haven't seen anything yet, because Dr. Gertis had this crazy idea, and then Johnny Pierce jumped on board, and then Rick jumped on board, and we have so much aid that you need that we're going to be bringing, and I'm going to put right in your hand. Listen, it's just, the joy is going to be overwhelming.
I was literally Johnny come lately. So, there you go. But yeah, no, you guys, and speaking of that aid, so, and you've mentioned that you are in the middle of sorting out the drones. How many drones do you think you have secured? What
squadron of minimum of 30?
Wow. Which is
we have secured. Correction.
No, you're the man. Let's face it. But and all the people that have contributed, of course. That is yeah. So that's 30. And will they all go to the same unit, or will you spread them around?
How they're going to be spread along the entire front line due to need.
Right.
So let me take it one step further. Yeah. My partner here, whom you guys will get to know more and more, and I don't want to put a plug in. Johnny does it for me, and I appreciate it. But if you haven't subscribed to see our videos, you need to do it, just so you can see reality on the front and be a part of what this world's doing together to help. So my partner, whom you'll see, his name is Yevgeny Matsutsa Zhenya. How can I best explain this? First of all, you cannot get to the zero line or the front line without personal relationships with military. So I have all the proper documents. I have military pass granted by Zaluzhny, the top dog, last time, plus relationships with many deputies and national leaders of Ukraine. So we have lots of relationships there. You can't just show up and say, well, I'm going to take some aid to the front, or I'm going to go cover it and do a YouTube story. You will not even get out of Kyiv. You can't. And rightfully so, because of collaborators, because of no trust, and because of safety. So since we've been home, Zhenya, my partner, he's talking to the commanders in Sumy, in Kupiansk, in the Kramatorsk, Slavyansk, Druzhkivka, Konstantinivka area, down south. He's constantly talking, and we run databases and spreadsheets. Okay, this platoon needs 11 power banks, 28 tourniquets, 50 chest seals. It goes into our truck. It's loaded out of our warehouse. This platoon has requested 3 FPV drones. We want to deliver those on X date. We just don't get in the truck and go. It is a well-oiled machine. Secondly, we are not just, yes, we are an NGO nonprofit here, but in addition to that, we're government registered, meaning we're a NGO part of the war effort. I guess that's the best way to describe it legally. And not just hoping. You have to you have to be very organized, and you have to do all the right paperwork and dot the I's and cross the T's, because it's a war zone, and it's a real war zone. James Fuller, can we still donate to you? Yes, sir. It's in the description. Always.
Yes. So,
we're going to do another push in 3 weeks.
And I need to update, because I copied the description for this over, and I knew I hadn't put the updated the info for donating on this video, and I was going to do that, and I've forgotten. So
to be quite honest, I would even ask this for all the people watching the stream tonight. Not about, I will never say do not donate, okay? But I really would suggest, we're good right now. I'm going to get a call from Dr. Curtis. He's going to say, are you an idiot? No. I would really appreciate if you guys would watch for 2 weeks and see what unfolds in the aid that is dropped in the soldiers and the civilians, and see it up close, feel it in your heart and your humanity, and then donate. Because you're really...
connect that desire with the knowledge of how it affects people, and what's done with that. Join it all up.
I bought a tourniquet, and finally I saw somebody take it to the front. I mean, there's no better story. You feel that your giving was there. I mean, I passed the stinking Red Cross again. Johnny, it's such a tragedy. I passed the Red Cross coming here, and they have 30 Range Rovers lined up. They haven't been within 500 kilometers of the front, but so full of money, well equipped. And I don't bash the Red Cross completely, but here in Ukraine, they get nowhere near the front. Nowhere near. We had a request. Are you ready for this one?
Yep.
Okay. Let me check your map ability. This is no joke. No joke. This is how it happens. I'm with the military. Okay. In fact, I got 2 things to show you. But I'm with the military down there doing the chocolate drop. Zhenya walks up to me, my partner. He goes, hey, we need to talk to this commander. I said, okay. So we go talk to the commander. He goes, man, we need an evacuation. We said, okay. We do evacuations as well. What do you need? Well, we've got a grandma and a grandpa, and we're trying to get them out. They're in Krinky.
Wow.
Yeah. Hold on. No, geez, nothing. Listen. So I looked at that guy. I said, man, I'll go anywhere, but I'm not crossing that river. If you can get that granny to me on the other side of the river, we will come right to the river and take her. Yeah. He goes, can you come get them here?
because I suppose you've got to remember that although the fighting is going to be most hard there, and there's not going to be anyone living there, there's probably people living, over in this corner over there.
It's completely, yeah.
More than
you realize.
Yeah.
So this may happen if the military can get them out and across the river. We're going to go get them.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. I've just put, by the way, I've just put the links in the description to the video below. So if you refresh the video, it should be there. I've put them in the live chat, but there are too many links, so it split them all the links across. So anyway, they are there.
Let me tell you this. So Operation Chocolate Drop, 2 military commanders came up to me and said, because if you saw the video, one of our meetings, we probably had between 300 and 500 in it. And then the next one, and then the third one, it was 1,000, pushing 1,000 kids. And that's okay. Being that close to the front, you can't do that. So those kids haven't been in school for 2 years. They only remotely learn because it's too dangerous. So let me tell you guys how this happened. How did we get permission to put 400 people in one theater that closed, that could be shelled instantly. All right. I can tell you now, it was done under complete military permission, guidance, and security. You just don't show up. Secondly, the chocolate drop started at 10 a.m. Do you know what time the kids found out about the chocolate drop? At 9:30.
Yeah.
At 9:30. It was a mass text message that said, go to the theater. That was it. Something special for you. So it's very secure, very organized. But those two commanders, we're not even dropping aid to the military yet. The commanders came and says, listen, thank you for our kids. It's even equally important as our soldiers. So they start giving me the flags.
Awesome.
So here's the HIMARS flag. So that was one commander. Then the second commander came up and says, all right, here's our battle flag. You get this one too. You guys, I'll have 100 of these here in a couple of weeks. This is from the 21st Brigade, the 56th. This is stormtroopers down there. So this is how much they care about their kids. I wasn't even dropping them a tourniquet or a chest seal. I was giving their kid a piece of chocolate. That's Ukraine, guys. It's awesome.
Absolutely brilliant. So are you, it's an odd thing to say. I don't know whether this is the right question, but are you enjoying yourself? As in, is everything going to plan? Are you fulfilling what you want? Are you enjoying meeting the people that you're meeting? And what are your biggest challenges going forward?
Do I look happy?
Do I look happy, Punk? You do actually, and
Johnny, I am not able to verbalize the joy of clothing the naked, feeding the hungry, and providing for the heroes fighting for the world, not only for Ukraine. Can you imagine a better feeling? Hold on.
It's rather like Christmas, isn't it? Where the joy is in the giving and not in the receiving. So I guess there's that. While the man is off and about, just thank you very much to Lawrence again for gifting those memberships. So that's such a generous human. Thanks so much to Brian again, always such a great supporter of the channel. Cheers, Brian. And thank you to Lynn at Surprise It's Us for her continued generosity and loyalty as well with the channel. Really is great. TTT super sticker from Norway, thank you so much for your Norwegian support. Zoe Blackmore, again, thank you. That's really kind of you. And indeed, on top of that gift of membership, thanks, Zoe. I can't begin to say how much you guys all appreciated. So thank you for that. Anyway, sorry, Greg.
There's no better feeling when you walk up to a soldier who's heading to the zero line, leaving out in an hour, and you see he has no tourniquet on because it's on your body armor. Right. Just like mine is. I carry an IFAC and I carry an extra tourniquet. He doesn't even have one. Or if he does, it is a knockoff piece of junk. And my partner will literally rip it off their body armor and snap it in his hands, and it breaks in two. And the soldier looks at us like we're crazy. And I take this Cat 7 and I clip it into his body armor, and he kisses me on the cheek and says, thank you for saving my life.
Yeah. Or
the medic comes up and goes, man, do you have any Z-fold gauze? Any? There's none. I said, you mean like this? How many do you need? Do you have any chest seals or clotting gauze? You mean like this? And the joy, It's beyond all. I saw a question up above. It's a good question. Steve does stuff. Greg, I think.
Can I just say,
Go ahead.
just what a lovely comment this is. I've never heard this. A man never stands taller than when he stoops to help another. I love that.
Go ahead.
I love it.
Thank you. That is, hey, that's right.
So what was the comment? Sorry, the question.
Steve does stuff. I can read it.
Yeah.
I think many who would like to help more practically would struggle with home commitments, dependents, job, etc. Are you also juggling those responsibilities? Hope you're able to manage. Yes, I am. So my wife is amazing, who supports this 1,000,000%. My family, all of my family has been in Ukraine. They know what I do. And my youngest son is 16, and I have a 21-year-old daughter and a 24-year-old daughter, and she's married. And when I leave to come to Ukraine for 3 months, my family doesn't cry and bawl. They high five me and say, "Go get them, Daddy. Go get them."
That's amazing.
Because it's a family calling, and that's all taken care of. Now, the other thing that helps me immensely, I was thinking about your question, is I have the ability to talk to everybody. Yes, I speak Russian, but that's not a problem. Zero. I am able to speak freely. So I don't need an interpreter. I don't need somebody to, if I need to go grab something, or I want to go over and talk to this soldier or talk to this granny, I'm not looking for an interpreter or trying to do sign language. I go right up to them and talk to them. To be quite honest, that's the greatest asset I have, is the ability as an American, or if I was any other nationality, to speak their language. You may not want to hear your viewpoints, but to speak a language they can speak their language.
Yeah, it does help so much. It really does. And what is your one of your biggest challenges then going forward in what you're doing? Are you up against any problems at the moment that you need to overcome? Other than, it sounds like you're doing a lot of talking at the moment. Your voice is a little bit hoarser than I've heard it before. I bet you're just going around just doing a lot of talking.
Well, to be honest, it's been nonstop. In fact, I received a lot of comments where people said, okay, because we nicknamed Dr. Gertis Dr. Synergy, and they gave me I gave myself the nickname Dr. Energy. And people were messaging me going, okay, do you ever sleep? Like, ever?
I get that with mine as well. But I'm just sitting in front of a computer talking bollocks. You are out there doing
so very little. I'll be honest with you that if I had to say the biggest need we have is nothing.
You need
this
nothing.
World,
that's good.
This community has been so powerful over the last month coming together. The world is being exposed step by step to what we can all do together. Yes, I'm going to be the hands and the feet on the ground, and I'm speaking a language you can understand, and I'm not just staying in one place, but we're working all of it with every level of aid. I think it's refreshing. You know, you asked that question about 2 years into the war, people growing tired. Absolutely, people are growing tired. But I think this is a refreshing wind for people to be able to discover and see a freshness to the aid and a freshness to their support of Ukraine. So if I had to say, if I had a wish, and I do have a goal, I want you guys to help me. And this is not about me. If it's about me, I would not be heading to the front line. If it was about me, I would go to a beach somewhere and stream about ocean currents. All right. I would not be going to where I could be killed. But I think the world needs to see this and see it in a way that's just observational, fair, caring. So what's the problem we have is exposure. We've been pounded since the beginning of the war. And I think it was because I've been in Ukraine so much. I don't know. I don't understand all that. So our biggest need would be for, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, to please subscribe. And when you do that, not only subscribe, maybe tell your neighbor, maybe tell Uncle Dave or Aunt Judy that you sit at the Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's dinner with, and you're so ideologically on opposite ends of the spectrum. You support Ukraine, they hate Ukraine. You support this, they hate this. Well, nobody can hate love being demonstrated, support being demonstrated. So our biggest need would be for more people to see this. So share it. I don't make a dime. I don't make a dime on this. I lose money on this.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, as someone else has said, Lawrence said, I tip my hat to you. What I loved when I was speaking to Ada last night was the idea that when she started her thing up and she was looking at replacing people's windows in these broken houses in these broken villages of northern Kharkiv, she went to the one window contractor and another, and then went back to the first one and said, actually, can we use you to help us replace the windows? And that woman then became, it sounded like, and I don't want to be like imagining things, but it sounded like she became invigorated by this whole thing and became the central component in Ada's ability to do what she did and make those connections. And then she took it upon herself to start employing people locally, this woman, this windows contractor, and pick people up who had lost as a result of the war, and change people and become part of the reparations itself of that local area. And I was wondering, with regard to the work you've done, and you've been doing this an awful long time as well, I guess, like, have you had experiences where, but particularly during the war, where people were maybe lost, where maybe people needed a bit more direction and purpose and needing to matter? Have you seen any effect of what you've been doing? Have people started helping you and finding direction? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I like to use this phrase. It cannot be explained. It can only be experienced. And you may not be able to experience it personally by coming to this, or if it was any other location in the world where something was going on and there was a very massive support push going. So sometimes you have to experience through others and allow that experience, maybe step out a little bit by faith and trust in something you're not sure of, and let that change your life. You know, this massive adjustment in what we do, not in what we do, but in the resources available up to us to do it more, started with a crazy idea from Dr. Gertis. And since December the 25th, I'm going to be doing an update video on the numbers either tonight or tomorrow. This world has come together through our little platforms here and raised over $150,000 in aid in just a couple of weeks, that is going to be hand delivered to the front. I cannot tell you how many messages I have received through my website or through YouTube or Twitter, X, whatever it is, where people have said, thank you, thank Dr. Gertis, thank Johnny, because now I feel I'm making a difference. Yes, I've donated to the Red Cross, I've donated to the food kitchen, but now it's like I'm there. And thank you. So I think that has happened internationally. Here locally, the greatest lives that have been changed, in my opinion, are auto mechanics. Auto mechanics who every day do their job, and then at 5 o'clock, when work time is over, they begin to roll in the military vehicles and roll in the volunteer vehicles, and they fix them for free. And they say, listen, this is our service for the war effort. And they go home and sleep a few hours and they do it all over again. I cannot tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of auto mechanics. Because, guys, the Ukrainian military, much like other nations, is not like the American military. It's not like the British military, the French, where things are so organized and every division has a purpose, whether it's the mechanic, the mechanics division in the Marines in the US, or you're just jet engine repair, whatever it may be. You're very focused on your job. Ukraine is trying to hold on to their country, to their culture, to their sovereign borders. The backside resources, such as mechanics, medical, all these things that are necessary, food, to make a war effort push forward, it's lacking on that backside because they've had to use so many soldiers to get to the front side. So this is where volunteers, Ukrainian citizens, are stepping up in a massive way to actually do military jobs supporting those guys on the front. So in my opinion, working all the front lines, it would be the auto mechanics, and it's probably not an answer you expected.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and they are so important. They're the kind of unsung heroes in so many ways. Just a few questions before, because I do have to sort of meander to a conclusion to get on. My boys are due back from school any second. So we've got some questions about aid in particular. So, Greg, do the Ukrainians carry individual morphine shots? Do you know? Morphine shots. And do you have an organizational department?
That's not a no, I don't know. That is a no, is in a no.
Yeah, right. Okay. And do you have an organization or department in Norway or the Nordic countries or any involvement there?
I do not.
No.
Would love to partner with anybody.
What's the most needed item on your Amazon list?
Tourniquets and chest seals. It's not even close.
Tourniquets and chest seals. Darren,
Z-fold gauze.
And Z-fold gauze. Can a tourniquet be loosened and then tightened again? Jerome JR says actually he says they can be reused if thoroughly cleaned and inspected for damage or wear. I presume, is that the case?
It is.
Yeah.
But see, that's the reason that we need to get the real ones and not the junk ones.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about cheap Chinese ones that have been breaking and all sorts.
My partner literally can break them in his hands. He's strong as an ox. He will go pop. It's over.
Yeah. And on your way back, grab as many calendars, postcards, and postage stamps to give people here as gifts and thank yous.
Shenanigans.
That the middle as I read between the lines, that the guy that was
Johnny,
standing on
between
Snake
this
Island.
line. Read between this line, Johnny.
He's just got the one line. Oh damn, I can't. Okay, but that stamp would be an amazing thing. Yeah. So grab some of that stuff. Some of that stash.
Okay. Absolutely. And thank you, Shenanigans. I've been thinking about that. I want to bring back, and I want to bring back some stuff to give people, all of you guys, actually. Just got to find out how logically to do it, because, it's one thing when 10 people donate. It's another thing when 2,000 donate. So you got to figure out the logistics of it. So where we're at, guys, and I'll just do this now, if Johnny will permit me. My wife called me. Well, we talk every day, but she called me yesterday and she says, we're running out of room in our warehouse here, not my house, at our staff room where we're storing all this stuff. She goes, 3 days in a row, Amazon has arrived in Penske trucks and dropped 15 pallets.
Wow.
I said, okay. So, and a lot of guys in your community have donated. Our guys there in Pennsylvania are in the process right now of organizing. We use special cartons that are a certain size, I think like 22 by 22, and that's inches. And they will load them. They will label them. And then we're going to have to rent a big truck and take it to Newark, New Jersey, where all of the aid that you guys have purchased will be then transferred to the Ukrainian company, Mist, Tochka UA, Mist UA, and it will be flown here. It's a 7-day turn to get to us. We have plenty of aid to give out before then. So we know we still have a lot of supplies coming in today and tomorrow because we can see it on the back end of Amazon. So Friday, I think, is going to be the day where they begin putting it all together. And then after that, it will head to Newark to be shipped over here via air. So that's kind of the plan on that. Dr. Gertis and I've talked, and once we do a frontline run now, I'm going to ask commanders, what is your number one need? And then we're going to poll all the commanders, frontline guys along the entire front line and see what the number one needs are. And then we're going to focus it down to 2 or 3, probably 3 main items and really focus on it. But to be honest, this is why I have asked everybody maybe to hold off. And if you feel so compelled that you can't, please don't. But I think if you can wait and see this first run and see the videos, I think our next push may even be a financial push versus a Amazon list push, because I'm now in the country and we can easily get over to Poland or get down to Romania or even into Lviv, where there are a ton of supplies that we could facilitate in-country purchasing to get to the front at equal to fair prices that we get on Amazon, and then we're no shipping, that we literally drive over and load. So there's different options we're going to be looking at.
As JL says here, if you can send me photos, which you have been doing anyway, then I can use them in the military aid section to say, just an update on what's been given over. So yeah, as you know, just don't, you'll be sending me photos. Speaking of which, I don't know whether this is allowed or not, but just,
you're good now.
Yeah. So this is what happened in Khmelnytsky, where there were missiles and there were lots of talk about, nothing being really properly announced, but actually there were places, military industrial defense facilities, that were hit and whatnot. So
4 kilometers from me, and 2 killed, 39 wounded.
Wow. Oops.
And let me ask you guys, did you see that on the news?
No, and it was just, I've been reporting it through kind of Twitter and socials, where you get a little bit, but it's reading between the lines, where you go, right, that's not announced, and then that every time they have these large waves of attacks, that as soon as there are, if it's 100% missiles taken out, then that's great. And you're pretty confident that, there will be damage as they fall to the ground. But as soon as there's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 missiles that aren't shot down, those are missiles. Yeah, they might not hit the exact target, but those are missiles that are through and are hitting some kind of target.
So let me tell you the story about this, because it's now past. The world knows about it. That strike was yesterday, and There were 7 missiles. 4 were taken out by air defense. 3 hit bullseye. 2 killed, 39 wounded. And the damage you see there is massive, but for kilometers around that strike area, every window is blown out. Every window in homes, schools is blown out. Why is that so important? Because it's minus 20 here tonight with a 20-mile-an-hour wind. It's freezing.
Yeah.
Okay? Brutally cold. Now, let me tell you what happened prior to that. 3 days ago, we had shaheeds flying all around our city here. And some were taken out. Others were allowed to fly. You say, well, what do you mean allowed to fly? Well, I'm here. I mean, if you want to know the truth, I'll tell you when it's right. And I can tell you this. They were allowed to fly because the military identified that they did not have loads on them. They did not have warheads. And
Wow.
this one drone, now, you have to look at this with analysis. So I know I'm with the master man of analysis here now, but if a drone is being allowed to fly around a shaheed because the military has identified that it doesn't have a load on it, what that is telling you is we're low on air defense because we're not going to take it out. My personal friend, it was on the other side of the city from me. My personal friend watched it fly around 30 meters above his head. Military's there. They said it's getting ready to run out of fuel. It's been running for 5.5 hours, and it literally ran out of fuel and fell to the ground. But that drone was doing air reconnaissance, flying around the city. And here, 3 days later, we had this massive missile strike, and it hit bullseye.
Yeah.
It doesn't take rocket science to understand what was happening.
No, it is air defense, air defense, air defense. I mean, that is so incredibly important.
So, well, why didn't they just shoot it down? Because they're so low on air defense, they have to take out for sure the ones that they've identified that have warheads on them. And yes, they can identify that pretty easily on the shaheeds. The shaheeds when they're 30 meters off the ground. And I've had them many times above my head. It's like a moped in the sky. If I had my weapon, I'd shoot right at it. But they're not going to waste that expensive air defense rocket that they need to use to defend their city against missiles and shaheeds that are loaded versus the offset of realizing, well, we may be giving a little reconnaissance away to the enemy, but we're at least saving our shell for when the real McCoy comes. You know, that's where they're at right now. That's reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I'm going to sort of draw us to a conclusion. While we were chatting, there was conversations going on in a live chat. I don't know how it got onto this, but if anyone is bored for actually what is 9 minutes, High Ren is one of the most incredible bits of art I think I have seen in the last 5 years. It is a great bit of psychology. It's a great bit of psychoanalysis from a person that himself has gone through health issues. Really amazing bit. You would like that. There's a bit at the end of possibly sort of religious symbolism going on in there and reference there, Greg. So if you guys have 10 minutes to watch High Ren, please do. It's just incredible.
I'll go check it out.
And then this was a very famous poem by Pastor Martin Niemöller that someone referenced, and it's called First They Came, or something like, First They Came. And I'll just read this out. And this is not about each individual type of the group, but it's about if you don't look after like smaller groups, then eventually there'll be no one left at the end, because these authoritarian regimes will come and get everyone. And so I'll just read this as a kind of ending. But before I do so, Greg, look, thank you so much for everything you do, and we'll have another update fairly soon. Anyway, I hope.
Yeah. And I'll be sending you stuff. Within 48 hours, we'll be heading back to the front. Additionally, let me make one statement here. It was in the chat. I think it's John and Greg, and I don't know. They're talking about baby wipes.
Yeah, that's for the International Legion. So James from EIN Ukraine, who's
Listen here. This is perfect way for me to end. We give them out by the tens of thousands. They are the most important thing, a very important thing as far as hygiene and sanitation there on the front. And that, for example, is something in Ukraine. If we have the financial resources, we can buy for pennies on the dollar. They're sitting over in Lviv by the millions, literally, by the millions. And that's what I'm talking about. Give us 10, 12 days for you to watch what's happening, and then let's hit it hard. And I know Dr. Gertis has some things going on in the Doctor Synergy mind as well. So,
well done, Darren, as well. You know, a very public thanks to him as well for being the I guess catalyst in many ways. So anyway, to read the poem, I think is a good way to end. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me.
Powerful.
Thanks so much again, Greg. Take care, buddy. Stay on the line, actually, and I'll speak to you in a second. Take care, everybody else, and thank you so much for your very generous support. Thank you. I forgot to say to Johnny Christensen for his super sticker. Really kind of you, matey. Thank you. And to Paddy for the gifted memberships and all those who have supported the channel. Thank you. And thank you so much to all those who have supported the work that Greg is doing, and all the stuff that he is able to give out to people who need it in Ukraine because of you guys is incredibly important. So thank you. And otherwise, speak to you soon.
Do peremoga.